Hello, everyone. Welcome to Recombinant Teaching. I'm your host, Justin Schaefer, and on this show, I'm holding STEM Education Office Hours, where I'll unpack your questions on STEM pedagogy, student success, academic careers, and everything in between. I've taught about 10,000 students in my 13 career, and just like you, I've spent countless hours in the trenches working with students, helping them learn how to succeed in college and beyond. Through hosting this show, I hope that we can learn from each other, solve some problems, share some tips and advice, and ultimately improve STEM education together. If you have a question you'd like me to tackle, check out my website or the show notes and click the Submit a Question link. Whether you want to write in, send an audio clip, or join me live, I'd love to have you be part of the show. All right, so today we have a great question coming to us from California, and we have a live guest as well. So I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Pankaj Mehrotra from the University of the People, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about himself now and what he's up to. Thanks, Pankaj, for being here.
Thank you, Professor Justin, for giving the opportunity to be in this podcast. My name is Pankaj Mehrotra, and I'm an instructor at the University of the People in Pasadena, California. And I teach biology and health science courses to the Bachelor of Science Health Science students degree program. So I have created a lesson on biotechnology, which not only is limited to understanding biotechnology, but also elicits the bio business to it. So biotechnology, as we know, is the branch of biology which deals with creating new organisms and especially, mutating the DNA or creating a non-natural DNA which does not exist in the nature. So, with this, the lesson is on students to understand the process of cloning and expression, and then giving students an opportunity to think critically how they can solve a problem using biotechnology as one of the means. So, with this, the lesson consists of students to understand the concept of cloning. That means, ligating a gene of interest to a vector and then transforming that recombinant DNA into an expression host, which leads to formation of a useful protein. With this, the students are going to use this concept of biotechnology and the process of biotechnology to solve a problem. For example, the problem of creating a protein which is not readily available or is very limited at the moment. So, herein, students are going to integrate the bio business to it, wherein they are going to think creatively how they can use the science to solve some complex problems. With this, I would like to, ask Professor Justin if we have to teach biotechnology here to students who are coming from non-science background, for example, those who are coming from the business background, how should we approach teaching them?
That's a cool question, Pankaj. I really like that. And I love the topic too, because, hey, that's what I like to do. Recombinant DNA and recombinant protein work, right? Hence the name of the podcast, my business. And my former life as a scientist was all about recombinant protein production and testing with cardiac health and disease is what I studied back in the day. But yeah, and so kind of a follow-up for you. And I like the idea of incorporating the business side of it too, right? Then because you're making these products ultimately, right? Sure, they can be done in the lab, small scale for research, but there's also a business. So for the course you're doing it in now, can you tell me a little bit more about the course and the types of students in there? Is it a mix of STEM, health sciences students and the business students, or are they separate courses?
Yes, the students which I have, they come from health science background, but some of them do not have a health science background. So wherein they also learn about the molecular biology, and in molecular biology, they learn about a bit of cloning and expression here.
Okay, great. And so they're all mixed together in one class, the health sciences background, also the more business focused students.
Yes.
Okay, and that makes it a unique challenge for teaching, right? Because you're having this very diverse background of your student body, and how you approach the topics and the lessons you deal can be tough to put it short, right? And that's always a challenge with any course is where are my students coming in at? What level are they at? Am I designing the curriculum and the course materials to meet their level? Is it too high? Is it too low? And usually it takes a couple tries to figure that out, right? So whenever you teach a new class, in my opinion, it usually takes three iterations of it to kind of really settle in. Same thing for a new lesson. I mean, if it's a course you've taught before, you do a new lesson, maybe this one on biotech, it might take a few tries to really nail it in. But yeah, I do think it's really important to teach both the business side to the science students and then the science side to the business students, right? Because it is an industrial application in biotech. The examples you gave, right? It's all about that big picture and how this could be scaled up to a company level or just to benefit society. And therefore, if you're a science student, health sciences or other STEM major, and you go into industry working for biotech, well, it probably would help to know a little bit about the business and how everything operates, right? And then conversely, if you're on the business side and you want to go into those fields of biotech, it probably doesn't hurt to know about the science and how it actually works. So I wonder, how do you do it right now? And then I'll give you my idea for how you might integrate the two sets of students. So how are you approaching blending basically both student sets with different backgrounds in the course?
Yeah, that's also a very good question. So at the moment, the lesson which I've created on biotechnology hails from one of the research article I have published during my graduate studies at the Black Hills State University on Nitrosomonas europaea, where I was doing cloning and gene expression myself. And I had presented that work at Colorado State University, where I also won second best prize for presenting from the American Society of Microbiology. So,
Great.
taking that idea, I've divided the lesson into three phases. First is pre implementation, then implementation, then post implementation. Since we have students coming from different diverse backgrounds, in the pre-implementation phase, the students are going to get prepared to learn about the biotechnology, right? So students are going to hear themselves explore using some tools to have some idea what is biotechnology. And then they are going to be taught what is biotechnology during the implementation phase. And during the implementation phase, they're also going to, prepare teams wherein they are going to come up with a question they're going to solve using biotechnology as a process or as a tool. And there they are going to take up different roles of leaders since they're going to solve a problem. Then here they're going to also take up the roles of leaders. By taking roles, they're going to divide the task. And with this, they're going to attain some leadership skills through the leadership experiences. With this, they also give feedback to each other. And then when they are able to solve the problem in the post implementation phase, they are going to present their result. And they're going to select a leader who is going to present by which they have solved a problem pertaining to science or health science or whatsoever topic they had selected. And then there's going to be an opportunity where there might be a gallery walk wherein the other students are going to reach out to other students and have like those scientific communication to enhance their communication skills. And finally, if the time permits, they're going to be an extension phase wherein they're going to use the NCBI PubMed and read about more scientific literature pertaining to the problem they're going to solve. So this is the present approach, and we'll be very happy to have your own, advice or experiences to add something more to it.
Well, it sounds like you've done a great job already. So I don't know if I have much to add, honestly. It sounds very well thought out. It's very well structured with the different phases. You have a lot of student interaction, a lot of opportunities for teamwork, leadership development, oral presentation skills. I'm sure written too, the extensions. Yeah, you're crushing it. Great job. I guess one thing I would think of is that if for the formation of the groups and the roles, and maybe you do this already again too, but because you do have students from different backgrounds, if you're able to identify those backgrounds ahead of time, and again, you might already be doing this, so tell me if I'm wrong, but you could have students give you a little survey on, okay, what's my strengths, what are my weaknesses, and you form groups based on that. And so if you have enough equal numbers to do this, you could have groups with a certain number of health science students and a certain number of business students together. And therefore it's mimicking real world situations, right? Because when you work on projects in industry, you will be teamed up with people from different divisions of the company, but business side, management side, R&D side, processing, whatever, and then they'll work together on these projects. So that will mimic that for them, and you're going to help them develop this really, truly collaborative skill set that they can then note when they move forward, right? Like when they have interviews, whether it's for medical careers or biotech careers in industry, say, yeah, I had this wonderful experience with my professor, with Pankaj, where we had to work in this diverse team and we had different roles and we came up with a solution using a biotechnology approach. So yeah, I love what you're doing. And maybe that could be a little addition that you could add to it, perhaps.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe, having students to, think of problems pertaining to, solving, animal, you know, biotechnology and plant biotechnology so that they can not only limit themselves to humans, so that they can have a very different perspective. And that is something it's being thought of. What would you suggest further? Is any other kind of problems can be introduced in the classroom?
I love that too, right? You're getting into diverse topics now too, right? So it's just not just human health, but it's, animal health too, right? You think about some of the GMO animals that are out there, whether it's the salmon or the pig, and they're trying to, some companies, whether you agree with this or not, it's happening, right? They're trying to accelerate growth of these organisms to help with production there. Plant biotechnology obviously is huge. I think incorporating a diverse aspect. So it's because some of your students, I mean, they are health sciences, they're going to care about the human element, but not everyone does. And even if they do, it's really good to learn from existing parallel situations. So yeah, great ideas again. I love those. And I just encourage you to keep it up and even, publish this if you haven't yet. It sounds like you've been involved with American Society of Microbiology, which is great. There is another journal out there called Course Source, which I used to be an editor for A&P. I'll put a link in the show notes, but you can publish lesson plans just like this. You can publish the whole thing, learning objectives, how it all works, share the rubric, share the course materials, and then your fellow colleagues and instructors can pick it up and adapt it. It doesn't have to be a study. It's not a research study. You don't need an IRB approval or anything, but rather it's more about sharing of lesson plans through a peer-reviewed approach. So I'd encourage you to check that out if you haven't done it yet.
Well, thank you so much for the appreciation and the other ideas. I've already published the biotechnology lesson. I'll be very happy to share it with you and the other viewers. With this, the last thing I would like to request you is to suggest how can we use a similar model of teaching with graduate students, who may also want to advance their understanding of biotechnology with the bio-business perspective.
That's a fantastic question. And how about we do this again another time and do that as a separate episode? Because I think that's going to take a long time to discuss, but I love it. So seriously, let's record another one soon. All right. Thanks, Prakash, for being here. And thanks for everyone listening. We'll put a link to his publication in the show notes too, so you all can try it out as well. And that's it for another episode of Recombinant Teaching. If you want to be a part of the show, check out the show notes for the link and how to submit a question. And also, please check out my website if you'd like to learn how I can work with you, your department, or your institution to improve STEM education. Thanks for listening and happy teaching.